Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the Medidata Perspective channel. In our last video, I walked you through how I went about predicting cardiovascular disease using our patient dataset. We started by looking at how to go about cleaning our dataset, creating visuals to explore our data, and then we created a model used for predicting our target variable, which was cardiovascular disease. In that video, we ended by creating a Pickle file to save our model. So in this video, I'll be showing you the step-by-step process I went through to deploy my model using the Streamlit app. So without wasting time, let's dive into this. So we'll be using Visual Studio Code to write our code. But before we go ahead and do that, the first thing I did was to create a folder. So if I go ahead and open this, you see my cardio data folder. It contains my data set, the notebook which we've worked on earlier, and our model. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this. When you are done with that, the next thing you have to do is open your VS Code, which you'll be using to write our code. So you can either go to Anaconda and launch VS Code using Anaconda, or if you have VS Code on your computer system, just go ahead and open that up. So these VS Code. When you open your VS Code, your Visual Studio Code, this is how the interface looks like without this. Okay, because I have already opened up this project. To do that, you can just go to your file, open folder, and search for that your projects folder, which is our cardio data in my case, and click on that and open it. So that's just that. When you've opened your folder, you find all your files there, your CSV file, your notebook, your model, without this your requirement.txt because you haven't done that yet, and without your cvd.py. So this cvd.py is the Python file we are about to write now. Okay, so to do that, you can just click on new file, and for example, let me say I want to save this as cardio.py. Okay, so you could see I've created a Python file just by doing this. So you can just go ahead and create your own file using that method. So once you've created your Python file, click on this and a page will be open for you, just like an empty page, just like this, where you can write your code on it. So the first thing we're going to do is to import our libraries, which we'll be using. I will be using two libraries, the Pickle library and our Streamlit library. So I went ahead to import Pickle and import Streamlit as st. So if this is your first time you are using Streamlit, you will first have to install Streamlit on your computer system. So you can do that by going to your cmd, your command prompt. Let's open this and say pip install Streamlit. Okay, so with this, you're able to install Streamlit on your system. Let me just go ahead and close this since I already have Streamlit installed on my system. So you can just go ahead and ignore these blocks of code which I've commented, and let's go to what we'll be needing. So the next thing I did was to create a variable to be holding our model. So to do that, I have to on Pickle the file which is holding our model. So using the pickle.load, open your parentheses, open, and place in the path to that model. For me to be able to get the path, all I have to do is just to go back to my file and click on this. Okay, so this, copy this because this is the path to this model, right? So all I have to do is paste it here, and ensure that instead of the forward slashes, turn this to backward slash and add the name of your model to it. These are our model, right? So add the name of our model to it. So you can see on the screen, if I click on this, you can see the file path right coming up. That's what we just need. We need the path to that particular model file, and also ensure to add your read binary because we are trying to read these Pickle file. Okay, So RB is for read binary. So once I've done with that, creating a variable that houses our model, the next thing I'll do is to define a function, define our main function. So using the df.main parentheses was just to define our main function. And once you are done with that, we just have to write this line of code to be able to deploy our model. So the first thing I did was to set a page title for our application will look like. Okay, so you can just go ahead and write this code. You can see, use the st. Remember we imported Streamlit as st. So st, which is streamlit dot set underscore page underscore config. And what is our page title? We are using cardiovascular disease prediction app as our page title. Okay, so st.title, these are our page title, and we created a form also. Okay, this form now is this is where we are going to input all our variables into it. So our age variable, form.number input, we want to input age as a number, definitely. So we set some boundaries, our minimum value of our age to be 1 and our maximum value of age to be 100. And this value as 35 is just a default value, so that when you open your application, it's always going to be at 35. Then you can switch it to any value from 1 to 100 which you desire. So that's what we did for height, weight. Then for systolic, we use slider, okay, which can switch from any value to another. We also set our minimum and a maximum value and a default value of 120. Same thing for our diastolic also. Then for gender, we use our text input so that you can fill in any gender you want, using 1 for male and 0 for female. So you can just go ahead and go through our input variable form and see all what I did here. So the next thing I did, since some of these input variables are going to be in text, when you are creating your model, it only takes in numerals, right? And since our form, we've used some of our variables. For example, if you look at gender, we have a text input, right? So we want to convert all these our text or inputs to numerals, because our model can only work with numbers, right? So what I did in this block of code was to convert all our non-numeric features to numeric data type, so that our model won't run into an error when running. So you could see that I converted age to int, or I just ensured that all these variables were in integers using the int function. Okay, then the next thing was to now use our model to predict. So model.predict and create an array that is going to house all these variables which we've seen here. Okay, so age, height, weight, systolic, ensure that all your features which you have here is placed in the array. Okay, so we created the make predictions variable using our model to predict on our features. After creating your make prediction, what you have to do next is to use the round function to round our prediction to a 0 decimal place, because we want our predictions to either be 0 or 1, where 1 is yes and 0 is no, right? So that's what we did in this line of code. The next thing we did was to just write a test, just our output, which is going to show us what we finally got. This piece of code is saying your predicted cardiovascular disease status is, and it's going to input our output in these curly braces here, right? So this is just technically what this page of code is doing. Then we end our code by writing this: if __ name double underscore equals to double underscore main, then just main parenthesis. So this is how we're going to end our statement. Okay, just like this. Ensure that this your if block of code is outside your def main block of code. Okay, if it's inside, you're going to get an error and it won't run. So you can run this file by clicking on this. If you click on this, it's going to print out this information to you, saying to view the Streamlit app on a browser, run it with the following command: Streamlit run, then the name of your Python file, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Streamlit run, and what's the name of our file we just created? cvd.py. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. So after placing that and run, it's going to redirect to this page, because now your application is now running on Streamlit on your computer system. So you can see now that our model has been deployed, and you can see our application looks like, right? So let's go ahead and test this. So these are our default value. You know, I said 35 was the default. We can go ahead and increase this to 43. We can increase our height, we can reduce our height to anything of our choice. We can increase weight or reduce weight, and we can fix our systolic value. Let's say systolic is 83, diastolic is okay, let's say systolic is usually higher, is 131, and diastolic to be 72. And let's fix our gender to be 1. You could see we have 1 for male, 0 for female. Our cholesterol value to be 1, where we have yes as 1, no, 0 as no. Okay, so our cholesterol is normal, right? So our cholesterol very high is going to be 0. Then our glucose is, let's say our glucose is 0, it's not normal, that meaning our glucose value is going to be very high, right? So let's fix 1 as very high. And does our patient smoke? Let's say no, 0 for no. Our patient doesn't smoke. Alcohol, our patient takes alcohol, so let's use 1 for yes. Physical activity should also be 1. And let's go ahead and click on the predict button. So you could see it predicted your predicted cardiovascular disease status is 1. So you could see that our model is working fine, and our model also has been deployed as an application using the Streamlit app. That's what I want to show you in this video. So right now, this application can only run in your own computer system. You can see it's running as a local host at this position. Okay, so it can only run in my computer system. So if you want other persons to be able to make use of this application, you have to host this in an hosting platform. So in our next video, I'll be teaching you on how you can host this application which we've created in a hosting platform, so that other persons can gain access to your application and make use of it. So these are all the code we had to write in order for us to be able to deploy our model to an application. Okay, if you want to make your application look much more beautiful or more interactive, you can check the Streamlit website, okay, so that you can read their documentation and learn more ways you can create your application. So this brings us to the end of this tutorial. Endeavor to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also remember to share this video to your friends, families, and loved ones you know are interested in Python programming or coding. Okay, so see you in our next video. Bye.